Swan song. Former NFL star Lynn Swan stepping down as USC's athletic director. Why his time on the Southern California campus is coming to a close.
Permanently forcing people to go from one place to the next while they're trying to get out of homelessness doesn't solve the problem.
LA's mayor pushes back as the city council debates a new proposal to stop the homeless from sleeping on streets and sidewalks. California's growing crisis.
34 people perished in that deadly dive boat disaster off the California coastline. Now, as crews uncover the wreckage for what went wrong, FBI agents launch a criminal investigation. Good evening, I'm Micah Ullman.
And I'm Cher Calvin. More on that. Federal authorities have launched a criminal investigation into the deadly dive boat fire off Santa Cruz Island. That, according to the LA Times.
The probe reportedly has a focus on whether the operation violated maritime safety regulations. The Times says the probe is being led by the U.S. Coast Guard Criminal Investigative Group and being overseen by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles. The catastrophic fire on board the Conception vessel on Labor Day claimed the lives of 34 people. Agents with the FBI and ATF served search warrants yesterday in Santa Barbara at the headquarters of Truth Aquatics and on the two other dive boats owned by the company. The U.S. Attorney's Office would not confirm the criminal investigation when asked for comment. Developing news in Hacienda Heights tonight, where police are searching for a gunman.
One person was shot and killed, and another two were wounded in what investigators say stemmed from a loud house party. KTLA's Aaron Myers live in Hacienda Heights with the latest. Aaron?
Cher, Micah, we know at some point deputies were called out to that house party for a loud music complaint, but the party continued on. We're told when guests started to leave, that's when someone started to shoot and shots rang out. A house party at a home thought to be rented through Airbnb turned deadly when a vehicle pulled up and someone opened fire as partygoers started to leave. A 33-year-old man was killed.
And it is loud. It's just like 20, 25 shots. You can just hear it. Bam, 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 bam.
The party was at a house on the 1700 block of Vallecito Drive. The victim was found on a lawn nearby around 1:30 this morning.
I'm looking out from my house and I can see some guy's head on his front yard. These people are gone, so I'm walking over there. As I'm walking over, I can see he's been hit in the heart. He's got a white T-shirt on and the blood's just streaming down.
Two women in their 20s were also injured. One suffered minor injuries. The other was shot and transported to the hospital in stable condition.
We're able to find out that there was a possible second shooting scene where a female was hit in the upper torso and was treated on scene and transported to a nearby hospital.
The sheriff's department believes 2 to 3 male occupants of a dark-colored sedan might have been responsible for this shooting.
There was no weapons recovered. At this point, based on the initial information, we believe it was a handgun used.
Residents in the area say this isn't the first time a party has been held at this house.
So every Friday, Saturday night, we got the cars filled in the streets, and usually they're just dropping their beer cans and leaving, and that's that.
At this point, the identity of the victim has not been released, and we do know this was a very violent last couple of days in this area. There was another house party over the weekend where 3 teenagers were shot, but at this point, investigators do not believe these two incidents are connected. That's the very latest here in Hacienda Heights. I'm Aaron Myers. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Aaron, thank you. A shakeup on the USC campus just 2 weeks into a promising college football season. Lynn Swan is resigning his post as the head of one of the nation's most prestigious athletic departments. KTLA 5's Chip Yost joins us live from the USC campus with details. Chip.
Good evening, Cher. When Lynn Swan took over as athletic director here at USC 3 years ago, there was a lot of optimism in many quarters. He was a 4-time Super Bowl champion, a Super Bowl MVP, a Trojan legend. He won a national championship with his Trojan team while he was here. But shortly after he took over as athletic director, some problems surfaced. And even though many of those problems were not of his making, he is now out as athletic director. Is into the end zone for a touchdown. Just 2 days after a huge victory over Stanford, giving the Trojans a 2-0 record to start the season, news came that USC athletic director Lynn Swan had resigned, effective immediately. While the timing may have caught people off guard, the news isn't terribly surprising. It's been a rough couple of years for Swan's department. 2 years ago, USC assistant basketball coach Tony Bland was arrested by FBI agents and later pled guilty to, as this government news release put it, accepting a cash bribe in return for steering college players on his team to corrupt financial advisors. That was followed this year by the even bigger college admissions scandal, where Swan's senior associate athletic director and the school's women's water polo coach were both fired after being indicted in the probe. On top of that, both the football team and basketball team posted losing records last year. Still, in a letter announcing his departure, USC's new president focused on the positive, saying, "Lynn has led our athletics department to 5 national championships in 5 different women's and men's sports during his tenure. Our student athletes' cumulative GPA for the past 2 years and our graduation rate of 86% last year were all-time highs for USC athletics. We appreciate Lynn's leadership of the department over these past 3 years and will continue to be grateful for his historic contributions to USC." That letter was from University President Carol Folt, who says the interim athletic director will be Dave Roberts while a committee searches for a permanent replacement. Reporting live at USC, I'm Chip Yost, KTLA 5 News.
Chip, thank you. Turning to more local headlines happening now at 6. The 23-year-old man accused of killing a USC jazz student in an attempted robbery pleaded not guilty today. The district attorney claims Ivan Hernandez shot and killed 21-year-old Victor McElhaney in March, just blocks from campus. McElhaney is the son of an Oakland councilwoman. Hernandez is being held without bail and is expected to return to court next month. That's when a date should be set for a preliminary hearing to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to proceed to trial.
A Hesperia man has been arrested on suspicion of lewd acts after being accused of groping an 8-year-old girl in a Redlands Target store. Police say 25-year-old Alex Francisco Chavez approached the girl from behind and grabbed her chest over her clothing. When the girl's mother confronted him, he denied any wrongdoing and left the store. Detectives developed leads in this case and contacted Chavez, who then agreed to meet them. He was interviewed and then later arrested. Chavez is also accused of exposing himself to a group of children at school bus stops in the high desert. 3 firefighters were injured battling a massive blaze at a fabric warehouse in downtown LA early this morning. Crews responded to the fire on East 7th Street just after midnight. Flames were so intense they caused part of the roof to collapse, but crews were able to keep the flames from spreading to adjacent businesses. 2 firefighters were treated for non-life-threatening injuries and a third for exhaustion. The cause is still under investigation.
An ongoing airport renovation project will cause major traffic delays for travelers heading through LAX, especially those planning on using rideshare. The construction work will affect rideshare pickup and drop-off areas. That means pickup stop E between Terminal 5 and 6 will be closed starting tonight at 11 p.m. until tomorrow at 5 a.m. There are more restrictions as well. For details on how Terminals 1, 2, 3, and 4 will be affected, visit KTLA.com. The city of Los Angeles is considering banning homeless people from sleeping on the streets and sidewalks in more than a quarter of the city. KTLA's Corrine Winter reports from South LA with more on the proposal and the areas that would be impacted.
LA City sanitation crews say it's an endless cycle, cleaning up abandoned parts of the city that have been taken over by homeless encampments, littered in debris and trash. This one by inactive railroad tracks near Western Avenue in South LA. City council leaders are considering a proposal, a ban to stop the homeless from sleeping on streets and sidewalks within 500 feet of schools, parks, daycare centers, and other designated venues. A move Mayor Eric Garcetti, who's spoken at an event aimed at providing more assistance to the homeless called premature.
You can't just push homelessness from one place to another. I think it's premature to talk about moving people when we don't have any place to move them to. Your problem today becomes my problem tomorrow, and that solves nothing. That's why I'm putting all my energy this year into 13,000 new units of housing.
The mayor at this morning's event announced the creation of new housing units for needy families, with the construction of other projects underway. Some critics believe this proposed ban, which city council members are weighing, would limit housing options for the displaced with no access to cars or shelters, and who are forced to sleep on street benches or in makeshift accommodations such as tents. While the mayor admitted there should be restrictions in place to limit dwelling like this that leads to safety and sanitation concerns, he insists a humane approach must be taken to tackling homelessness.
We are working now, we're paying folks who are unhoused and homeless to actually clean up areas like Skid Row. That's part of the solution. We're doing regular cleanup so they know when that happens, and we're not going to stop cleaning up just because somebody is living in a tent. That said, permanently forcing people to go from one place to the next while they're trying to get out of homelessness doesn't solve the problem.
Corrine Winter, KTLA 5 News.
Just ahead, a possible new breakthrough in the battle against Alzheimer's.
Plus this. Chicago PD storms into the home of a suspected kidnapper, but what happens next? That costs him his life. Plus this.
Chaos and confusion when an enormous elephant tramples through a crowded festival. Why the rampage couldn't stomp away the spirit of those revelers.
Plus, can bulking up your body also boost your brain? Researchers find a link between physical fitness and mental might. The new study of the fast and the curious. Plus, Vera.
Thank you, Cher. Good evening, everyone. We'll also be taking a look at your extended forecast. This afternoon, temperatures were slightly below average. We are going to see a nice change from last week's warm temperatures, but you know, the heat's going to return. You'll see that on the extended forecast, and I'll have that for you coming up in just a few minutes.
Newly released body cam video shows a deadly confrontation between police and a suspected kidnapper. We want to warn you, some may find these images disturbing. A Chicago police officer opened fire on the suspect as he reached for what appeared to be a handgun. He later died at a hospital. Investigators say the man carjacked a couple the previous night and held them captive in his apartment. The couple escaped and flagged down police as that man slept. The officer has been placed on paid leave while the shooting is under investigation.
Police in West Los Angeles are searching for a dangerous robbery suspect that got away with 2 cell phones in a brazen heist. It happened last Thursday in the Sawtell neighborhood at a Best Buy on West Pico Boulevard. Video shows the suspect take off with the stolen goods and then fight off an employee who chased him out. Police say the employee retreated after the suspect pulled out a knife and pepper spray. Anyone with information is asked to contact police.
In tonight's Health Smart, a new drug is showing promise in protecting against memory loss, nerve damage, and other symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. Researchers at the University of Buffalo say the drug inhibits the effects of a hallmark protein of Alzheimer's that is toxic to nerve cells. The study also shows the drug could be capable of activating a number of biological mechanisms that protect the brain from neuron damage and other impairments. Researchers hope the drug can also be used to treat developmental disabilities and schizophrenia. The drug is now in phase 2 clinical trials in patients with Alzheimer's.
A new study finds that fitter young adults have fitter brains. Using hundreds of MRI scans, German scientists found that participants who could walk a longer distance in a 2-minute walking test also had better cognitive performance and healthy white matter in the brain. The research opens the possibility that increasing fitness levels could lead to improved memory and problem-solving abilities.
Vera's here. Boy, we enjoyed some beautiful weather yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yes, today was nice. And then we look at the forecast.
Up. We have one more day, though, of this nice weather, right?
You do, yes.
Yeah.
We do indeed. We're not quite done with it. In fact, we have a couple of days, not just tomorrow, but Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be our transitional day. As we make our way into Thursday, we'll start to feel those temperatures warm back up again. So in the meantime, we are going to enjoy the nice, cool weather because we will hit the 90s once again towards the end of the work week. So I'll show you that in just a second. Right now, though, what I want to show you, as always, is this. It's our weather photo. This time it came from Jeffrey Christopher Nelson. Thank you to you. I asked for a weather photo, and in 5 minutes he sent one to us. So thank you so much. That was Ventura this afternoon, and as you can see, they had mostly clear skies with some of those wispy cirrus clouds in the mid and upper levels. Right now, though, what you're looking at is LAX, well, Huntington Beach, but the temperature at LAX is 73 degrees, 71 in Oxnard, 74 in Santa Ana, and 79 in Riverside. Our weather chart shows a trough of low pressure. We talked about it last week. It dug in and it continues to dig in. As we make our way through the work week, this is going to shift to the east, and it's going to take away all of this beautiful marine air that it's bringing in. So tomorrow we are expecting a deeper marine layer because of that stronger onshore flow. The stronger onshore flow will translate into stronger winds, and that's what you're looking at here. We are looking at somewhere between 30 and maybe 40 miles per hour. This will be primarily east of the mountains, so in our high desert communities, places like the Antelope Valley, Barstow, Needles, those areas will definitely see, Needles is low desert, by the way, going to be seeing strong wind gusts there. The temperatures there aren't going to be bad either, so we've got some decent weather the next couple of days. The marine layer is what's going to be responsible for the cooler weather. By tomorrow morning, we are expecting it to be about 3,500 feet deep, and that means it's going to make it beyond the coast, beyond the coastal basin, into the San Gabriels, into the San Fernando Valley as well, and possibly even as far inland as the Santa Clarita Valley. So we're all going to see those gray skies tomorrow morning. Overnight temperatures, here you go, 69 degrees in Palm Springs, 57 in Hemet. How about 67 in Santa Ana and 62 in Pomona? Tomorrow's daytime highs are going to be slightly below average. The Antelope Valley will be in the low 80s, so will Newhall and Van Nuys. Woodland Hills close, upper 70s, low 80s. Along the coast, we're back into the mid 70s, 80s in Yorba Linda, 80s as well for most of the Inland Empire. We'll take a look at the extended forecast beginning in the San Fernando Valley. 79 degrees tomorrow. That is well below average. Better clearing on Wednesday with 83 degrees, and then back into the 90s on Thursday and Friday. For the coastal basin, again, below average Tuesday, Wednesday, above average by Friday. For the Inland Empire, gusty afternoon winds tomorrow with temperatures near 100 on Friday and Saturday. And Orange County, well, guess what? They're back in the 90s as well as we make our way towards the weekend. So enjoy tomorrow.
Okay. We will. Thank you so much, Vera. Just ahead, mission to the moon marred, where India's lost lunar lander has just been located.
ET phone us. China's massive 500-meter telescope detecting more than 100 mysterious signals from outer space. What we're learning about the bursts beaming to Earth from billions of light years away.
Plus, a mystery 65 million years in the making. Unearthed new evidence revealing new insight into an asteroid apocalypse. What scientists have just discovered about the day the dinosaurs died. Next.
At least 18 people suffered injuries over the weekend when a spooked elephant trampled through a crowd. It happened during a religious parade in Sri Lanka. A man riding the elephant was thrown off. Others could be seen scattering in a panic as that elephant went on its wild stampede. Handlers eventually corralled the animal and calmed it down. The parade continued after order was restored.
A possible setback for India's mission to the moon after its orbiter loses contact and crash lands moments before its scheduled touchdown on the lunar surface. Cameras have located the spacecraft very close to its planned landing site. Now, there were fears that the lunar lander had been damaged after the controllers lost contact with it, but officials have now confirmed it is still in one piece and is currently, well, lying on the lunar surface in a tilted position. Communication, however, has not been reestablished. On the day the dinosaurs died, an asteroid hit Earth with a force of 10 billion atomic bombs, sparking wildfires, tsunamis, and sulfur clouds, which wiped out the ancient animals. And that's according to scientists at the University of Texas, who found evidence of the apocalyptic chain reaction of devastation inside the underwater crater in Mexico, left by that impact. Researchers drilled almost a mile into the seabed and they found charcoal, lumps of rock, and sulfur-rich stones, which they say reveal the most detailed timeline yet of the catastrophe that ended the age of dinosaurs some 66 million years ago. China's largest telescope has detected more than 100 mysterious radio pulses coming from a source around 3 billion light years from Earth. The strange signals are so-called fast radio bursts, which are rapid pulses of energy that come from unknown but high-energy sources out in space. Researchers are continuing to monitor the signals, hoping further analysis will find out how they're being generated. That's it for the news at 6. Here's Micah with a look at what's ahead. Micah?
Chair, thank you. The news at 6:30 is next with the battle over background checks ramping up on the road to the White House. Whitney Wild live in Washington tonight.
As Democrats rally around a single issue, the president holds his own rally in North Carolina. That story coming up next.
And we've hit the Taliban harder in the last 4 days than they've been hit in over 10 years. So they're dead as far as I'm concerned.
President Trump talking tough after canceling secret talks with the Taliban here on American soil. The warning from the White House. Plus, impeachment inquiry, how the House of Representatives is taking action to put pressure on the president and take a step toward impeachment. Everyone else is signing off. We are just getting started with LA's only local news at 6:30 on The Other Side.